Welcome, everybody, to the R&R CatCast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back, Bobcat fans. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the R&R CatCast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Foley. He's your host, Ryan Thornburg. We are the Ryans of the R&R, the Montana State affiliate of the Big Sky Podcast Network. We have a sweet sponsor in Gear Up Sports. Thank you to Gear Up Sports, a youth sports platform focused on solving the uniform and apparel headache for high school and middle school coaches. If you're a youth or high school coach and need uniforms or player packs, please contact them at www.gearupwithus.com and make sure to mention the R&R CatCast. They just went live with their Catterdays line. If you haven't seen it, visit our socials. There's a link in there. Some new swag coming out from Gear Up. Super stoked for them. Thorny, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. I'm sore right now. I did a big, huge hike on Sunday. Jeez, I'm trying to think. Was that yesterday or 2 days ago? Like a 9-mile hike, like 2,900 foot elevation. I'm pretty sore today, but feeling good. Ready to talk some Bobcat football. How about you?
Do you have a Garmin watch? Do you keep track of all this stuff?
I do. And also I use All Trails on my phone to kind of keep me on the trail, but it also tracks your elevation and all that stuff. So yeah, the Garmin's more like the fitness stats and how many steps it was and my, how many calories I burned. But the basics, the distance and the elevation, it was a tough one.
Do you upload it to Strava?
I do not.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think Garmin might automatically post it to Strava. I only started even getting Strava because I joined a running club, and apparently that's what the running peeps use.
Well, see, this is the problem for me because I run all the time, but I don't run with a watch, and so my friends, some of them are cheeky, and they say, "Hey, man, your runs don't even count. They're not logged anywhere." They're like, "How do you know how fast you're going? How do you know how far you've gone?" I go, sometimes I don't. And I'll ask you if I'm running with you. How fast did we go? How many miles did we run? And so they find it incomprehensible that I don't wear a watch. Unlike some races, I will wear like a $15 old Casio just to know kind of like, splits if I know where the miles are at. But I've resisted the Garmin, and for many reasons. If I know too much about my running, I would obsess over it. And so it's kind of best not for me.
Yeah, you can really dig into the analytics and your time and your splits and really kind of get obsessed with that. It's kind of nice. I like your plan. Just kind of shut it off, and I just like so many miles I went and how many calories I burned. That's all I really care about.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, a lot to talk about today, but we're going to try to make it a quick one. So rundown for today is we're going to go into the news today. Well, first of all, we're on the heels of Montana State going 2-0. That in itself is just like fist pumping. 2-0, 2 games on the road. I heard somewhere today that Montana State hasn't opened with 2 games on the road in over like 20 years. It's felt weird not to be back in the comfy confines of Bobcat Stadium. But guess what? We got Gold Rush coming up this week. I'm super pumped to talk about Gold Rush, and I got a little critique for Coach Vegan when he talks about Gold Rush. I'm gonna put a pin in that. So before we get to all that, we'll talk through some news. There is some news. There was a new poll that came out this today, earlier this AM. I think our listeners will like what they hear in that. We'll go into Vegan's presser. I have a little critique for him as well on his outfit. We're gonna play a little game with Coach Vegan. I want to know if he's listening, because if he's listening, I got a little proposition for him. See if he can. Maybe we can, set something up.
Okay.
I'm crafting something. Okay. We're gonna run down the stats. We'll talk about the game. It was kind of a weird game, a wonky game. I'm glad. Well, I'm not glad we didn't do a instant reaction show. There was some feels definitely on Saturday night, Sunday, but you were on your epic hike, and it just never happened yesterday. So we're gonna recap it today. I think I got a little bit better grasp what went on, and then we'll preview Maine, and then some Golden Coolies.
Yeah, sorry about the no instant reaction, but the game got over so late on Saturday. I wasn't going to do it Saturday night. No way. And then, yeah, too busy on Sunday, and the Sunday evening rolled around, and I was like, no, I'm too tired now from hiking. So here we are.
Yeah,
Starting the 2024 season off with a bang. I don't know.
Alrighty.
It was a weird game, and it just didn't really feel like it almost did. Not that I'm not saying it didn't deserve an instant reaction show, but it's like, did we need one? I don't know. It was a weird game. So anyway, to the goods.
To the goods.
What's in your golden coolie?
Well, I'm boring. I've decided, for no reason for myself other than I'm not happy enough with my weight loss progress, I'm doing like a sober September, I'm calling it. So I got LaCroix over here. Boring LaCroix. It's purple. They all taste the same.
Well, I'm always in support of those sober months or ventures that people go on. So stay strong if you can, and we'll get through it. I have a new beer. I've never had this. Today my wife and I met a couple friends over at Brick West Brewing Company here in Spokane, and I'm drinking something called Sun Doggy, a summer lager, 4.8%. It's good. It's exactly what I want tonight. So
Sun Doggy.
Sun Doggy.
It's too like kid sounding.
I know. I saw it I was like, I've never seen it before. So picked up a 6-pack. It's easy drinking.
Sun Doggy for your tum tum. Something like that. Just finish it off.
Crisp lager. There it is.
Nice. Is there a lot of breweries in Spokane? I don't feel like you drink a lot of Spokane beer on the show.
Yeah, I just only go to Perry Street, really. So there is a lot of breweries. Probably more than Bozeman, I would say. So yeah.
You just start supporting local, man.
Out. I do. I go to Perry Street.
Spread the love.
They are it.
I know, but buy a 6-pack or go. I assume the Spokane has some place you can buy individual cans of beer. Just go buy a beer here and there.
I suppose they do. Okay. Well, I'll try to get out there. Make it happen.
And then visit the brewery and then
all right.
See if they want to sponsor something in here. Oh, I forgot to say, the Golden Coolie is sponsored by Wilbur Ellis. Go see Shay Richter and company up in Fort Benton for all your farming and fertilizer needs. Sorry, Shay, but we made it. We're here.
You're not trying to sell that spot out from underneath Shay.
No. When I started saying, I was like, what spot would they even take? Because then I was like, well, crap. Speaking of spots that are taken, yeah, just triggered a whole line of thought there. Really on the ball tonight with this LaCroix.
We could sell vegans wardrobe. Bit that we do.
You mean this one?
I don't know.
This is a good transition.
And now, Bobcat fans, it's time for F&F Fashion Watch, brought to you by Foley and Fisher, the only two that seem to really care what Brent Vegan is wearing at his press conference.
Hope you're ready.
Do you want it right now? Because I can go into it.
You have to. I played the thing.
A little premature. Well, all right. So a vegan was wearing a different gray pattern suit than the last 2 weeks. A muted gray and white checkered tie with circular pattern of a pale yellow dot within the checkers, and appeared to be wearing a light gray shirt that was pressed or neatly ironed.
Is your wife helping you write these now?
No. No. So here's what I want, Coach Vegan. If you're listening, next week I want you to wear a pocket square for us and just pat your little pocket square. Just give it like a little pat. There'll be a little sign, just kind of like, like a base. I'm giving a sign for someone to steal a base. Mm-hmm. I need you to wear a pocket square and just give it a little pat on the lapel right there. And that will be a sign that you're listening. I think you could, if you're going to wear the suit, just go the extra. It doesn't take much. Just go get a coordinated pocket square and just give it a little pat.
We'll see if he's listening.
Make it happen.
Or if, just because he doesn't do it doesn't mean he's not listening. He's going to be like, there's no way I'm doing that. And there's no way I'm letting them know listen.
Come on,
he
Coach.
Be one of those things.
You can do it. This would be good. Let's make this happen. I'm going to be watching next week. I want to see pockets.
I've been closing my eyes when you do this. I'm just trying to let you paint the picture and see if I can conjure it up in my brain. This is a good one. I feel like I got a relatively good picture of vegan on this one. I did not watch the presser today, so I'm blind. I didn't listen to it. I know nothing about it. But You painted a good picture of what I think Brett Vigen would have looked like up on that beautiful stage with the crinkled corners that people complain about on Bobcat Nation.
What is going? I made one comment on that.
That was you?
Yeah. Well, I made one comment how they don't frame it. Like there's 4 different cameras in there, 3 different cameras, and one guy gets most of it, and then you got the big whiteboard in the back. I was like, just put the guy in focus. I don't know. Is it that hard just to have it in full view? I'm not sure. So, anyways, I'm happy they're doing it at least. But yeah, I think like MSU 01 is on there, just holding on to that and won't let it go. He just continues to rib people on it. So,
no, sorry if we just stoked the flames.
Hey, before we get into the presser, because there's some stuff that came out today. The new updated stats perform top 25 came out, and South Dakota State stayed number 1, got 36 votes. North Dakota State number 2, and here's where you're going to be happy, Thorny. Montana State hopped Montana. We are now number 3. We got 8 first place votes, flip flopped with the Grizzlies there.
Hey, number 1, South Dakota State, 0-1. Number 2, North Dakota State, 0-1. Number 3, Montana State, 2-0. That's the most important part, baby, 2-0.
Yeah.
It's weird sitting there 2-0 behind 2 teams that are 0-1. It's just kind of a weird, the way the FCS works. You lose an FBS game, they're like, nah, whatever.
Well, Idaho stayed at number 7. So then they lost when they were at least competitive.
They were super
Oregon,
competitive against the number 3 team in the country. That was surprising. That was impressive.
Their new quarterback is out. He has a broken collarbone.
Yeah,
he'll be out for an extended amount of time, if not the whole season, right?
That's tough. Yeah, I can't imagine you come back too quickly from a broken collarbone. Depending if it's on your throwing shoulder or not. I did not catch that, I guess.
Sac State comes in at number 8. I thought Sac State was going to hang with San Jose State, and San Jose State just ran away in the second half. So they start off 0-1, but they maintain it in slot number 8. Let's see what else is going on.
They missed some golden opportunities. I was watching a little bit of that game. Wide open receivers, just like an inch overthrown, or guy drops it. I mean, they had their chances to really kind of go toe to toe.
They did. Let's see here. So it looks like UC Davis. Who Davis play?
Cal,
yeah. Gosh, yes. Of course, Cal. And same thing. Davis was hanging with them. Lan Larson looks like the man because he is the man. And Tim Plow's debut came up short, but showed well for a lot of that.
Do you know
game.
What the score is? I didn't pay attention to any of that one.
Yeah, I did, but I want to say they doubled them up. Like I think they got like 17 points on them in the second half, and they just kind of ran away. So
cool. Well, pretty good showing, I think, across the board from the Big Sky against their FBS foes. Foes.
I saw Rush Reimer out there for Cal. TJ Sessions. Isn't that kind of crazy? That
Montana State West.
What do you think they're going to think about that? Do you think, like, in a year, Rush is going to be like, oh, that was a good choice? Because I don't see Cal being, like, all that competitive.
Dude, he doesn't have to have Bozeman winners, and he gets to hang out in, like, California and get a great education, and like, all the women down there. I think he's probably doing all right.
Dude, it's so crazy that the Cal's part of the ACC. When you see that logo, and you're like, you're literally touching the
Nothing
Pacific
makes sense anymore, man. It's so weird.
All right, let's see. Weber State comes in at number 24. So, yeah, quite a few Big Sky teams in the top 25, which is not surprising. But see if Eastern Washington can get up in the top 25 before we play them. That would give us a ranked win against them if we could pull that off. That'd be pretty cool. I know I'm going to go to that game. I'm trying to figure out what another game in Bozeman I'm going to head down to, but I want to make that happen soon.
Yep.
Fully needs to get back to the homeland.
I know it's been a while. I miss game days in Bozeman. Miss it a lot.
All righty. Well, so that's the poll. Some news came out today that Adam Jones was the national freshman of the week.
Yeah, that must have been like the I don't know what outlet that was from, but that's pretty awesome.
I tried to find the national or Big Sky Players of the Week. There was no release on that today. I didn't see anything. Did you?
I did not. Let me go see if I can't pull it up here real quick while you talk. But no, I didn't see anything come through on Twitter. But I wasn't too active today.
Yeah, I thought that there might have been a release because of Labor Day, but whatever. I didn't see anything come across that, and I did look it up on FCS or Big Sky Conference.com. I didn't see any press release. So if there's out there, I didn't see it.
So they do it on the week where only one Big Sky team plays, and then in the week where everyone starts playing, they don't do it. At least not right away.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Alrighty, presser, and then we'll get into the stats.
Yep.
Did you watch it?
Nope.
Where did I start? You have any questions for me on this? I think that'd be easier for me to answer this.
Okay, so I'm curious what he said about the seemingly lack of points for how dominant the game looked. Did he say anything about that? Or just the offense in general, I guess?
Well, okay, so he started with his praise for the defense. And rightfully so. Defense was lights out. He says, we're not only looking like we're faster, we're playing with purpose and we're flying around. Not just flying around just to fly around, we're being strategic. And so his praise of the defense was quick and right up front. Offense, he's kind of said was like, we're trying to find some pieces right now. So he didn't have much to offer, if I remember right, about how the offense is kind of struggling right now.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been one of my biggest questions, I guess, would just, his thoughts on the offense.
My take on this whole offense thing is something I kind of thought about yesterday. An analogy is, to me, it feels like the offense is like putting together a puzzle right now. Montana State has a couple pieces in place. I think we have the running back piece in place. When you look at Scottree Humphrey, Adam Jones, we're nailing that. But it's almost like we're searching for a couple other pieces and nothing's fitting right now. And I think when we find those pieces, when we recognize what those pieces are and they snap into place, the picture is going to take shape and we're going to cook. But play calling, the young offensive line reshuffle, it's just all of it just seems a little bit just like we're not finding the pieces to put together in the right spots right now.
Yeah, I could go with that analogy. Yeah, pieces on the offensive line for sure, and it seemed like the wide receiver room was kind of solidified, but then against Utah Tech, they were putting everybody out there, so I'm not sure. They subbed a lot of guys in, so I don't know if that's part of it too. Like they had guys like, I saw Dane Steele had like switched jersey numbers and he was playing for a little bit. It's like they're putting everybody in there.
Yeah. Alrighty. So yeah, when they talked a little bit about injuries, JT Reed, Burke Mastel, and Justice Perkins still going to be out. We talked a little bit about playing Maine. I went on to look at the the Coastal Athletic Association, and they have like 16 teams in that conference, which is just mind-boggling. I thought the Big Sky was bad, but they were. It's unreal. But they have some names you would know, like Villanova, UAlbany, Richmond, Delaware. Some guys that made the playoffs last year and have continually good teams. I think also what came out in the press conference is a little bit of talk about Rohan Jones and how he's filling the Derek Snell role. I think Montana State has like a Derek Snell role. Like they're going to recruit that position to that body type, that less than 6'4", fast, athletic, tough. That's like a staple in Montana State's football program.
Yeah, I love Rohan Jones. Maine Black Bear, right?
Yeah.
That's where he transferred from.
And Jahari Martin still playing.
He's their starting running back. Yeah, I was going to get to that when we talked about Maine. It's kind of funny. For those who don't remember, Jahari Martin was a running back for the Bobcats who Big, strong kid. Started as a linebacker and switched to running back, or was it the other way around?
I started with the linebacker.
Started back linebacker, yeah.
Yeah.
So, good for him getting some playing time and earning a starting spot over Maine.
Okay. One thing, so go back to the pin I put in earlier about a critique about Gold Rush. So somebody talked about, hey, you played 2 games on the road. Now we're coming back with Gold Rush. And in total Coach Vegan style, he's the most even keel guy. Like, when we see him talk to the team, you get more emotion. But I would like a little bit more emotion when he talks about, for instance, Gold Rush. Gold Rush is an elite atmosphere, one of the best atmospheres in all of college football. And he just kind of, he has a chance to really sell it in front of the cameras. And he was just like, yeah, it's going to be good. And, it's going to be fun. And we're pretty lucky. But I'm like, man, you're missing it because to me, it's the best. It's special. It's absolutely special. And there was no emphasis on the uniqueness that Gold Rush is.
Yeah.
Thought you lost the moment there.
I mean, at the same time, what are you going to answer that same exact question every single year with the same answer? I don't know. That's a question that's going to come up like every year.
Yeah. And he should take 5 minutes every year to pimp it out there because it is an absolute gem of a night.
Well, Vegan is not selling the program. He never has. That's not his shtick. That's not why he was hired.
Yeah.
He's here to coach football games, and that's what it looks like he's here to do. Nothing else.
Doesn't mean you can't
oh, sure, for sure,
improve on some things. And I just think that would be that, and wearing a pocket square. There's a little work-upons.
Pocket square and Gold Rush selling. 2 work-upons for Brent Vegan.
Okay, well, I'm sure some other points will come up naturally in our conversation, and I can reference them back. But let's get into the stats.
All right. Well, Montana State travels down to, what is it, St. George?
St. George.
Utah to take on Utah Tech, formerly Dixie State. Wins pretty handily, 31-7. These stats are going to be pretty interesting to read through, I think. All right, so 25 first downs for the Bobcats, just 6 for Utah Tech. And a lot of Utah Tech statistics are going to be against our second-string defense or third-string, whatever it was, late in the fourth quarter. I don't even think Utah Tech had a first down until late in the third or the fourth quarter. Not even a single first down. So they only had 6 all game. They were 1 for 11 on third down. The Cats were 8 for 17. And the Cats were 2 for 2 on fourth down. So that was an improvement over New Mexico, which we struggled with, I think, if I remember correctly. 481 yards of offense for the Cats, including 152 through the air on 14-24 passing for 6.3 yards per pass, 329 yards on the ground, 56 rushing attempts for 5.9 yards per rush, which for the Bobcats that's good. It's not blowing you away or anything like that. Utah Tech just 176 yards of total offense, 103 through the air, 12-26 passing for 4 yards per pass, 73 rushing yards on just 14 attempts for 5.2 yards per rush. So I guess that's the one positive is 5.2 is pretty good, I guess. 6 penalties on the Cats for 45 yards, 4 penalties on Utah Tech for 21. The penalties were just abysmal for the Bobcats, at least in the first half. We'll get into that. And the time of possession, the Bobcats 44 minutes and 36 seconds for just 15 minutes and 24 seconds for Utah Tech. That is dominating on the stat sheet. One of the more lopsided stat sheets you'll ever see. But then you look up and it's 31-7. That's the part that just kind of blows my mind. How did we not allow a team to have a first down all the way until the fourth quarter, and we were only up 24-0 at that point or something? So anyway, there's the overall team stats.
Tommy Malott was 14.
Sorry.
Yep. Tommy Malott was 14 for 21 with 152 yards and a touchdown through the air. He rushed the ball for 6 times, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns with a long of 47. Scott Tree took the ball touched it 20 times for 107 with a long of 22. Adam Jones had 11 touches for 53 yards. He caught the ball 3 times for 18 yards. That was wide open, by the way. His little out pass that they were doing in the flat right there, completely open. They should just continue to do it. He had a touchdown with a long of 16. Jared White, good to see Jared White get some touches.
That's right.
10 touches for 49. He just has different vision than Scotchy does in Adam. So it was just, I like that. He had a long of 17. Colson Kuhn got some touches late in the game, 6 for 36 with a long of 10. Rohan Jones quickly climbing up some on my favorite player list for this year. 4 catches, 66. And then he had a touchdown of 45 yards. Taco Dowler had 1 catch for 25. But Taco, where he really shined, is he caught 5 punts for 113 yards with a long of 53. He really flipped the field specifically twice for us. Miles Sandstead, 5 for 5 on extra points, 1 for 3 on a field goal. 28 yarder right down the miss, or 28 yard right down the tube. Missed a 32 yarder. Wasn't his fault. They didn't chip the outside rusher. I mean, the guy just came off free. But it was just, it's like when everybody's like, hold your butts, and then it gets blocked. You're like, oh my gosh. And then the next one, he just pulls it left. I don't know how we're still there. Brendan Hall, 4 punts for 166, 3 inside the 20, and then he had 6 touchbacks. Brendan Hall is an absolute weapon. That guy is first team All-American in my book. I mean, I don't think anybody's better than him in the conference or in maybe ever, like in the whole world. He's probably the best punter in college football.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Got on the biggest legs anyway.
Yeah, Makeda Riley, 4 solo, 2 tackles for a loss, 5 total. I'd say the defensive stats weren't wildly like popping. So no sacks again. And that's something Coach talked about, that we're affecting the quarterback, but both teams we've played get the ball out really fast, but we had a lot of hurries, and it doesn't pop on the stat sheet, but we're playing good on the defensive line. Deacon Hill, their quarterback for Utah Tech, he played at Wisconsin, Iowa. He was Iowa's quarterback last year.
Mm-hmm.
Utah Tech. I think
big boy.
Weighs like 270 or something like that.
He was huge, which was, not gonna lie, pretty comical to see him score that rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I think he was 2 for 25, 1 touchdown with the rush, 11 for 23 through the air, 104 yards. So, man, yeah, they didn't really get anything going in this game besides when we full on put in our second stringers. At one point at halftime, I wrote a little stat. MSU had 15 first downs for about 265-ish yards, somewhere in there. They had 0 first downs with 39 yards total. Complete domination.
Yeah, it's one of the most dominating defensive performances I've seen in a long time. I don't care what program or what division, or I mean, it's an FCS team, but even against a D2 team, like that would have been like still insanely impressive. Utah Tech looked pretty bad, but
yeah, and never felt to me that we like absolutely blew the doors off of these guys. And we missed one right away. Right before we hit in the third quarter, right before we hit our field goal, Scotchay missed a Mack truck size hole on the right side. Colsane, Marcus Ware just cleared it out, and he ran into the bunch on the left side, and there was nothing but green in front of him for about 10 yards. It would have been there. That would have felt like, okay, game over. Get Tommy out. This thing's over. This thing's done. But we missed that. And I think Adam Jones stumbled one time, where if he doesn't stumble, we score. But like we scored like 63 on these guys, different coaching staff. So second week in a row, Montana State has to deal with unknown coaching staff. And their head coach was a defensive guy as well. Comes from some notable trees, and they play good defense against us. But I mean, I have some critiques. What do you think on as far as our offense? Like we were kind of talking about that.
It just seemed vanilla. Is a lot of RPO, the same exact play. It felt like, I don't know. It was hard to describe. for how many we were piling up yards, not like insane amount of yards, but we were piling up yards, and it just didn't seem like we were scoring points, and we weren't turning the ball over. So like a lot of times you get a lot of yards, but then a few turnovers. So it was just like, why weren't we scoring more points? I know we had a lot of penalties, so there could be more yards because we kept shooting ourselves in the foot, especially early on. We kept getting like false starts or a holding call. We had some stuff called back. So we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit there for a while. But I don't know, it just 14-0 at halftime didn't feel indicative of how dominating it looked and felt.
No. Second week in a row, Montana State's gone off to kind of a slow start. I wonder if that is going to be a trend all year, or if that will be something that we can figure out when we start playing at home. It's crazy stat.
Did we go 3-0 again, or how did it start?
I can't remember.
But it was a slow start, no matter how you slice it.
So, something to watch. Will Montana State, when they go back to Montana or to Bozeman, can we figure this out? I don't know. I don't know. People are talking about it all over on Bobcat Nation. People are critiquing Tommy. They're saying he's thinking too much. They just let him play Tommy ball. And then other people say, well, if he's going to play Tommy ball, then he's just going to get hurt. Not many people are talking about Tyler Walker's play calling. I think there's a little bit of critique right there for that. But I also kind of go back to the Tommy's. Like, I don't feel like he's recognizing blitzes very well. And like, for instance, like when he got sacked yesterday, the nose tackle threw Sane to the left, and big number 91 just came straight at him for like 10 yards. And Tommy didn't sidestep him at all. Like, it's almost like he was blind to him, or like he was just like, okay, I could get this pass off. Just wait one more second. And I'm like, come on, dude. Just that guy, you could hop on one leg and get away from that guy. I mean, there's no way we should have took a sack right there. And that put us in second and 15.
Tommy was trying to be patient and let the route develop and get open. The guy never did. But sometimes you can't. Yeah, Tommy of all people, like you said, just could have easily avoided that. But yeah, that was a bad sack. That's a bad one. But at least he got sacked and didn't fumble it, I guess.
The thing I have a trouble with yesterday, and I went back and rewatched it, is, okay, so when obvious pressure is coming, why doesn't Tommy why isn't there a call that we can check to a hot route and run a quick slant over the middle? Because eventually, you said it, we played the RPO game and we ran off tackle almost exclusively last game, and we did it over and over, and we were getting 4 or 5 yards at a time. We weren't busting those. That's still good. I mean, we almost had 500 yards of offense, so it comes across as a little bit whiny. But all I'm saying is, when that pressure is coming, do a little tap on the helmet, do a little sign somewhere to Lanata saying, "Hey, we're doing a quick route in that vacated space where the blitz is coming from, and we're going to hit that." Instead, no. You know what we do, Thorny? We hand the ball off right into the teeth of it. So it's a little bit frustrating as a fan to see that. There's no other option there.
No, I was thinking about that while I was watching the game. Like, when's the last time you saw Montana State like have the perfect play call for a blitz that goes for a huge play?
Yeah,
like you said, like something that vacated or a screen pass that took advantage of it. Like, it just doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in forever.
Yeah,
I see other teams do it like on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. If it's Tommy, if it's play calling, but or it's just straight like that's just not what we do. Who cares? If they're blitzing, we're going to do what we do all the time, no matter what. I don't know.
Ali, you and I talked a little bit on this yesterday, and we said the Montana State's going to continue to run the ball, and people are going to say, "Just run the damn ball." And you're like, "Okay, cool." And we're going to rack up a plenty amount of good wins when you do that. But I think when we start playing that top tier of the FCS, let's say if we play the Grizzlies and we just only run the ball, I don't think it's going to work. It might, because 2 years ago we absolutely mopped the floor when we just ran the ball all over them. Do we have another day like that in us against them? I'm not sure. But can we consistently just run the ball against South Dakota State, North Dakota State? I think you need a passing game to complement it. If nothing else, soften up the box. Remember when We tried to take that deep shot.
Yeah, I was super happy when we did that.
Yeah, for sure.
I was
Like,
like,
so
all
they're
right.
playing cover three, and we go down the middle and try to take a deep shot on their safety, and he was there. Tommy misplaces that. We need more of that.
Yeah, we had
We
him
need to
beat.
connect
Yeah,
on some of those.
that should be 1 to 3 times a game. That should be happening. Not that
So-
that was the only time of the entire season, I think.
So yeah,
Two
I
games.
don't know. All right. So those are my critiques on the offense right now. Feels disjointed. The puzzle pieces are not snapped together right now. We're missing some. We have some, but we're missing some.
It doesn't feel quite right. I don't really have any other way to put it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's like something that's just a little different. Maybe it's because we're trying to corral Tommy too much, trying to make him more average or whatever Vegan calls it. Tame the stallion. Maybe that's not how to go about it. But you need him healthy, though, because I don't know if anybody else on the roster can do it. So you kind of have to tame him. And I don't know, maybe it's just not going to be, maybe it's going to be a square peg in a round hole type scenario all year. Where it works sometimes and other times it's like, it's not meant for him. I don't know. Too early to tell. I know the pass protection needs to get better. The offensive line's been struggling a little bit with that. A little bit better, I thought, against Utah Tech, but still not great.
I think it's a kind of a blessing in disguise, actually, being able to play those guys early and get them playing time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see Jaden Perkins out there getting some reps. You're going down to who's that guy? You're looking at the roster.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, everybody's coming out. So it's good and bad at the same time. So
you're getting lots of experience. You just got to figure out who your 5 guys are, and hopefully they stay healthy and start to gel together. And we need Justice Perkins back.
Yeah. 2 questions I have for you. Tell me your take on Jordan Reed, and then tell me your take on our kicking game.
I had no take on Jordan Reed because they just had him hand the ball off the exact same time. Like, he threw a ball in the dirt, but that was like his first throw coming off the bench cold. Tommy throws the ball on the dirt half of his first 4 throws every game. So hard to tell, man. I don't know. I want to see more of him. I think he's got the arm talent, but I don't know. It's from that game, nothing to report really.
Okay. All right. What about the kicking game?
Makes me want to cry. I just watched it. I saw that kick get blocked. I'm like, I'm just like, this is never going to change, is it? Never going to change.
It did feel like that. If it was so deflating when that was blocked, everybody in Bobcat land just Depressionville instantly.
Have we learned nothing? And he misses a field goal. I was just like, I know Kotzman's injured, but if that's, I mean, at what point do you put Brennan Hall back there again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, can you do drop kick field goals in college?
Can you do a drop kick field goal? I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
You can take it. You can take a kick, like a snap, and then bounce it off the ground, and then kick it through the upright.
Do you think that would be better than what we're doing?
Because I only know this because Doug Flutie did it in the NFL 20 years ago. I think it used to be a thing before, like holders, and I don't know if it's still a rule. I don't know if it's a college rule, but Brendan Hall bouncing it off the turf and then kicking it might be a better option.
All right.
Someone out there tell us if the drop kick is still, if it's legal in college football.
Yeah. Montana State pioneers that, brings it back. Oh, man. Somebody has an acronym right now on Bobcat Nation. They're like, never kick again. NKA. Or what's that? Run the damn ball. NKA. Never kick again.
Never kick. The no kick gang.
It's kind of last thought for me on the offense. Montana State did have a chance to move the ball, and we just didn't. Specifically on third down, we go like 3rd and 5, and we tried to pass it. And a couple times we hit Rohan Jones, who has amazing hands, by the way, but they weren't going to stop. We could run the ball on 3rd and 5, and then 4th down. They weren't going to stop it.
No,
we were getting like 3-4 yards easily. And sometimes we'd get 10, 12. And so it was weird. I was just like,
Yeah, what was the long run? Oh, let me go take a look at that. I mean, Tommy had the long of 47, but other than that, Country had a 22-yarder, Jones had a 16-yarder, and White had a 17-yarder. So it was just like normally when you have like 6 yards to carry, there's a couple long ones in there and a couple. Like I felt like it was just like literally 6 yards every carry. No more, no less. It was like it.
Yeah. I was expecting at least 2 more just to the house calls.
Mhm.
And that would have felt like the game was in hand. So
I'd have to really rewatch to see how Utah Tech was really playing it. If they just kind of were in a zone and just kind of keeping everything in front of them. I don't really, I'm not the best football mind. I'd be curious to kind of hear someone's opinion on how they defended us.
I thought they were playing a lot of cover 3, and they rushed 4 guys, and they brought some blitzes. So I don't know. They were pretty gap sound. We just couldn't break them. So I thought they did pretty good actually on defense. They defended well.
Well, I think we kept it pretty vanilla for them to defend as well, at least to my untrained eye.
All right.
Defense.
Anything else on this game?
Defense was lights out, man. They were flying around, like Vigan said. They were hitting hard. There was many times where the quarterback, it was like a 6-yard pass, but he'd hit his receiver, and the guy would have it in his hands, and somebody stuck him hard enough to pop the ball loose. Like there's some legit hard hit pass breakups in this game by the Bobcat defense.
Bryce Grebe had a great pass breakup over the middle.
Yeah, he had really good coverage. Yeah, he put like his arm kind of like on the hip, and then reach his hand across. I was like, dang, that was like perfect technique right there.
Taki Ulalakipa out there playing a lot. I was like, who's 17?
I know. I
had
saw
to get the
17.
roster out. He looks
Someone
good,
switched numbers.
Tall, rangy, kind of fluid, fast. I was like, all right. There's a kid who has some juice. Now he's number 2 on the depth chart this week in free safety.
There you
I'm
go.
not sure Blake Stillwell's in the doghouse after kicking the ball around at Utah Tech or
in Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah. Bit of a hothead, which you like, but you gotta rein it in a little sometimes. I was still a little concerned the defensive line not getting any sacks, and I know Brent Vingan's talking about it, and I know that teams are doing quick drops and all that stuff, but for a team that had like 41 sacks last year to have 0 through the first 2 games is cool. Not great, and also 0 turnovers through 2 games. 0 turnovers. I guess we had the 1 fumble. I'm not counting that one. So 0 real forced turnovers through 2 games is not a real positive sign either. If you're not getting home, you're not getting sacks, you're not turning the ball over. The potential of being Idaho'd to death. Or New Mexico, what they did a lot of that game too, where they just hit you for little 6 to 10 yard passes over and over and over.
So Montana State also plays a lot of cover 3. And in the cover 3 defense, you have the flats, which are like just like those curl routes over to the sideline. They're open. That's like a critique on that defense. 6 yards over and over. Quick passes are a big problem for cover 3.
So we're just not playing a lot of man, or is cover 3?
I don't know.
Man?
So it's a zone defense. So you got the free safety in the back. He takes the middle third, and then your 2 corners are taking the outer thirds. So what Montana State's banking on this year, from what I've seen and what I've been listening to, is those corners aren't bailing anymore. They're playing more up. So playing press coverage. And so that's going to help take away those or clog up those spots on the side, those flat routes that I'm talking about. But I really don't know. This is just Ryan Foley just trying to piece together a defense from what I'm seeing and reading. No one's telling me any of this, so I could be completely wrong. But
we're trying to evolve here on our podcast.
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I'm
actually learn a little bit more about football.
Yeah. All right.
I applaud the effort.
Zach Levere asks, do you think buy or sell defense pitches a shutout this season?
Sell. I don't think we'll pitch it. If it wasn't going to happen against Utah Tech, it's not going to happen against anybody.
I think maybe Mercyhurst.
Maybe. But, by the time we bring in the second string defense, like, there's still problems on the defense. They're just being less and less, but I think the further down you go on the depth chart, those problems are still there. That was, a 3-play drive where Utah Tech just 3 plays, touchdown, like 75 yards. It wasn't kind of crappy in the middle of that game. Like, oh, well, the game wasn't in doubt by any stretch, but it was like, that was just not pleasant.
No, that was the beginning of the fourth quarter.
And then another QB long touchdown run against a defense that completely sold out the other direction. So that's, except this guy was like a 6'8", 270-pound lineman rumbling.
Yeah, he's a big dude. All right. So we're going to play, can we move on now? Can we talk about Maine? All right. So we're going to play Maine, and what I heard Vegan say is they got like 27 seniors or 20 some guys who are seniors or graduate guys. So senior-laden team, they were 2-9 last year in that ginormous conference, the Coastal Athletic Association. Again, Jahari Martin is a running back. I feel like Jahari Martin, I don't even know what year for college football that is for Jahari. We would have to go back. But
he's listed as a senior on their website, but
yeah.
COVID senior.
It's been a while, yeah. And Rohan. So we got Rohan, kind of traded him for Jahari.
A little bit,
I thought Jahari could be Rohan, like that same kind of role that he plays. I'm not saying they're the same athlete, but he could have been the H-back. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I mean, that's what I kind of thought. But I'm not sure I don't know. I loved watching him block as a fullback, but
yeah, he was fierce.
So their quarterback, Carter Peavy, transferred from Mercer, and he led them to the playoffs last year. So he's a pretty experienced SES quarterback who had a lot of success at Mercer. I was watching a brief highlight. He had a 75-yard touchdown run on their opening game last year against like number 8 Ole Miss. So he's got enough wheels on him. He's scored like 12 rushing touchdowns. And he's a pretty good quarterback. He's a grad transfer to Maine. He was 17 to 22 for 186 yards and 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions against Colgate when Maine won 17 to 14. That's their first game that they had this year. Jamahari Martin had 15 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of Maine this year. I don't think you'll have too much trouble in Gold Rush, but their depth chart, they got some big boys. Like their offensive line's all 300, 310, 320-pound guys. They have a 270-pound defensive end. So they must be more of a traditional 4-3, I would have to guess, based on the size of that DE. It'll be interesting to see how they play. Maine's usually a pretty tough defensive outfit.
Yeah.
Kind of what they're known for. I think, it's their coach's second year, or maybe it's their third year, but he hasn't had much success over there yet.
It's going to be a good challenge for the Bobcats, but Montana State's the number 3 team in the nation. We should take care of business right there.
Get out of that desert heat finally. Get back in Bozeman. Guys stop cramping up nonstop or having the heat strokes.
Coach Vegan did say it was going to be 80 degrees at game time. So, I mean,
it's still a little toasty.
Yeah, still a little toasty. All right. Anything else on Maine? You want to get into some golden coolies?
I think that's probably pretty good. Sorry about that. Not much of a preview on Maine. Go probably some better content out there for that game preview. Let me sell our product real well. I'm Brent Veganing our own stuff.
All right, let's see. Help me decipher this one. 4-corner cap says, would you rather have a defense that gives up 0 first downs and 41 yards through 3 quarters, or a defense that has 4 sacks, 8 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a pick 6, but also gives up 21 points through 3 quarters? Oh, okay. See what he's saying there.
I mean, you want the one that's just not giving up any points. Points are the ultimate thing here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that one. 0 first downs, 41 yards through 3 quarters.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna win every single football game you ever play if that's your stat line. You kick a field goal, you win. Well, maybe not Montana State. Guy probably score a touchdown.
Roger Fisher says, "What's in your golden coolie?" And it's not close. LOL. I have no clue what Roger Fisher is talking about right there. Is he drinking when he's typing that? Do you know what he means? I'm not sure.
No, I didn't see that. So if you just read that,
Mr. Fisher,
verbatim, I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, no clue. And the last golden coolie, because I posted this really late. Do you think Tommy, being such a cerebral player, plays a role in his slow starts? Does he overthink things, and does it take him a minute to calm down?
It's possible.
Play that comes from prodigal cat.
It's a good question, and that's quite possibly true. I think he might be overthinking things. He just can't get out of his own head sometimes.
I think, yeah, that is either that or him and Tyler Walker are not on the same page.
It's tough to get a new OC. It might just take a little bit of time to gel.
Yeah. I think everybody needs to pump the brakes a little bit on the offense woes. I think there's going to be some improvements. I am optimistic that Montana State's going to find the puzzle pieces, as I say, and put them into place. This picture will coalesce.
I think there's a lot of people out there that are kind of sick of the offense the Bobcats have run since basically Jeff Choate got here.
That's a good take right there.
It doesn't take very long. It doesn't, like, as long as it's churning out points and winning games, I think that crowd's relatively silent. But the moment things start looking not great, like, I'm sick of this freaking offense. I want a quarterback who can throw the ball. Because I feel these feelings a little bit too. And I had this feeling watching, like, the New Mexico game. I was like, when we were struggling, like, can we just get a quarterback who can sling it around? Please. We haven't had one. It's so long. Now Tommy can throw it probably better than some of the other, like a lot of the most recent Bobcat quarterbacks. But I don't know. I think if the offense isn't putting up 40 points a game and running teams out of the building like they do quite often, and like they haven't done super well this year yet, I think those voices get loud quickly.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I agree with it too.
All right.
In order to be good at passing the ball, you have to practice passing the ball. It doesn't seem like we do that.
Do you mean in practice or like in games?
In games, yeah.
I have to go back and look. I think Tommy's thrown the ball more than he has. I think his average from last year, I feel like we've thrown it more attempts. I'd have to go review the tape, the stats on
People felt good about the offense when we played NDSU last year. People were like, man, this is dynamic. We're doing it. And now it just feels a little bit kind of stagnant. So,
a little disjointed.
Prodigal Cat, man, I'm going to give you the golden coolie. That was a good question. I think the Bobcat Nation is wondering the same thing. Woo!
All right. Thanks for the question. Love it.
All righty. All right, Thorny. Your phone's going off. You got things going on over there, so we got to get out.
I have alarms that I set in the summer that I need to turn off because they keep going off in the middle of the podcast, and they're nothing to do with anything. I just keep forgetting to cancel them. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to our episode here talking about Utah Tech and Maine. Thanks again to Gear Up Sports for being our awesome sponsor for the 2024 season. Thanks everyone for checking us out on Twitter or our Catcast on all the social media platforms. Fully, man, let's get out of here. I can't wait for next Saturday. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.